Have you ever wanted an entire theme park, not just a single land, purely devoted to Star Wars? Well, Kevin Lynch just came out with his third iteration on one, which he's calling Forceworld 2.0, and we're going to talk about it after the intro. Well, hello there! My name's Jeremy and welcome back to Freeform Disney, where I talk about all aspects of Disney, from the animated movies to the theme parks to Star Wars, Marvel, and Pixar, and the TV shows, and everything else in between. And that is why it's Freeform. And keep coming back every day for new daily content. If you're not subscribed yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Now on to today's topic, Forceworld 2.0, a Star Wars theme park. Back in 2015, Kevin Lynch released an image of what he was then calling Lucasworld, and the world went crazy. Was this a leaked image of a new park Disney was building? Could it be that this was the Star Wars land Disney had just announced at their D23 convention? Of course, we all know now that Galaxy's Edge is what Disney had been announcing, and certainly not an entire theme park. But let's look at Kevin's latest iteration and imagine the possible future where Disney World adds its fifth theme park, Forceworld. Right off the bat, look at that theme park, in the shape of the Millennium Falcon. That's awesome. It's got to have some kind of cool shape, not just be amorphous, right? So we come up on the entrance over here. There's a big old plaza and a fountain. We can see C-3PO and R2-D2 to greet us, and they're right next to that fountain, and that's got this really cool old classic art style from the original posters for Star Wars in the middle of the fountain. Nice callback. And then we go through these gates that look like they're Jabba's palace, so we got to go in through there, and we're right in Coruscant off the bat. Very nice. The only time we've seen Coruscant in the movies at this point is definitely still the prequel, so we start out right there at the beginning in that sense. And I can see Kit Fisto, get to meet him, and Mace Windu. Oh, very cool, very cool. Well, let's see, what activities do we have in there? Palpatino's Pizza, Dex's Diner. Oh, yeah. Gotta go to Dex's Diner, even if I'm a pizza person. Apparently, the Jedi Temple have a Become a Jedi activity. And there's a battle over Coruscant in 4D that we get to watch. Nice. Senate Debating Chamber. I wonder what we get to do in there other than just see it, which would be amazing to see. Maybe they let us go into each of those different pods and inside that comes some kind of video vision ride or something. I could also see them do some kind of performances down in the center. That would be cool. While sitting in the Senate pods. Nice. Then as we come to the end, we get Darth Vader's TIE Advance in there. And a Lambda shuttle. Very nice. And the Death Star, which has got this interesting Death Star / Starkiller base theme going on. So I imagine if we see it from this side or anywhere on the left inside the park, we see the Death Star because that looks like it's all original trilogy land over there. And on the right side, where we've got some of the new trilogy, you'd see a Starkiller base. That's neat. I wonder if you're over an Endor, it actually looks like the Death Star too. Or is that asking for a little too much for it to look like three different things, huh? And actually, the Death Star gets kind of called its own little land. Super tiny little land. So some kind of fun escape thing inside what looks like it was probably considerably bigger than Spaceship Earth. Wonder how interactive it would be. Around the rest of the side, we do see some other characters that would be able to greet Darth Vader, Kylo Ren, General Hux, some of the new ships, some more of the old ones on the side. We've even included the TIE Interceptor over there. That's nice. Don't always get to see those included. And I think that's a TIE Bomber right back behind the Death Star. Just the shape of the wing, I think that might be what that is. Makes me wonder what other ships might be included. Okay, let's jump back. We're gonna head on all the way back out and then take a turn over to Tatooine. And Tatooine looks like it's got a lot going on. We've got a few character greetings. No big surprises. Anakin's in there. Luke is in there. Old Ben is in there. Old Ben Kenobi. And then we've got the pod racing. Oh, and that's gonna be, it looks like it's gonna be a big old roller coaster kind of thing. Or maybe instead of a roller coaster, yeah, no, looking at this definitely looks roller coaster, especially it looks like there are 4 different tracks. So I guess you could have 4 different ways of racing through depending on which person's ship you're in. Oh, that's pretty cool. And then Anakin's pod is outside the front, so you could probably take some pictures and some photo opportunities with that. But then we've also got the Millennium Falcon and, hey, a Corellian Corvette. Apparently there's going to be laser tag inside this one. Probably thinking the blasters and firing back and forth. That's cute. Laser tag. Nice. Nice thought. Got a Cantina band live. Yeah, we've got to have a live Cantina band. Can't not have that. There will be a walkthrough of the Lars homestead. Nice, nice. Tashi Station power converters. Nice original Star Wars reference right there. But I want to go to Tashi Station and pick up some power converters. What about Jabba's skiff? Do we get to go over onto that? Let's see. It's a restaurant. Okay, that's neat. And then also there is a whole Jabba's Palace show. Wonder if anyone gets dropped in the pit. Be an interesting add to the show. Maybe that's part of it. And then from there we can walk right on over to Yavin 4, which is just right next to it. You see one of the really cool temples. And what's available on Yavin 4? Apparently we've got this Death Star Assault / Attack over Scarif roller coaster. Nice. So I guess that makes it dual purpose, so we could get either one of those. Maybe kind of how Star Tours goes right now. The Rebel Medal Ceremony. Wonder if Chewie will actually get a medal in that one. And then wedges for food. Oh, that's great. I wonder what wedges are. Are these like sandwich wedges? Or are we getting maybe some quesadilla wedges? Or maybe it's a whole mix of things. Oh, that sounds neat. Then we can go ahead and sneak our way into Dagobah, which has a small little entrance once we go underneath the monorail. And there's not a whole lot there. Apparently there's a Yoda puppet show, and then the Cave of Evil Creature ride. That sounds like it's some kind of dark ride, which sounds like the right way to go about that. Let's move on to Hoth, where we can see there's this giant roller coaster going on. What do they call it here? Let's see. It is the AT-AT Attack roller coaster, or the AT-AT roller coaster, depending on how you choose to pronounce that. Look how it loops around one of the AT-ATs over there. So we'll probably get some kind of theme as if we're actually tossing the tow cable out and actually tying it around the AT-AT. Very nice. You know me, I love my roller coasters, so more roller coasters, give me those. Moving right along, we have Bespin, which has a really tall Cloud City viewing platform that we can go all the way up to, and apparently another stop on the intergalactic monorail. Doesn't look like there's a whole ton going on in there. We got a restaurant up in the top. Now let's move on. Endor. I look forward to that. A nice forested area to go into. There's an Ewok Village treetop playground. Well, that could be neat depending on how they put it together. Although probably aimed a little younger than I'd hope for it to be aimed. A virtual speeder bike chase. That's neat, that's neat. Ewok barbecue and music. Yes. Gotta have some nub-nub. Nub-nub. Da-do-do-do-do-do-do. Probably shouldn't go too much further on that. Nub-nub. That's a really neat looking spot. And from there, that's where I'm wondering, maybe if they're really neat in the design, maybe we could have the Death Star in the center of the park look like the Death Star 2 from that point of view. That would just be cool. And then from there, we get to walk on over to Kashuk, which looks like a really tiny quick stop. Apparently there's some bumper boats. Wow, there's so many rides in here. We've got so many e-ticket level rides. Somebody definitely likes gearing this park up. Thank you, Kevin, for some of the ideas here. Oh, if only we could have those. And Chewie's Wookiee cookies. Oh, those have to be like these giant cookies. Probably going to cost you $5 a cookie right there. Okay, let's start moving a little quicker because I'm probably spending way too long talking about all this, but hey, it's intriguing. Geonosis has an arena stunt show live. Definitely makes me think of the Indiana Jones stunt show that we've got over in Hollywood Studios. But the arena stunt show, heck, I don't know what they'd be doing entirely, but we could be seeing all kinds of fights to go ahead and recreate Attack of the Clones. Maybe we could actually bring in the creatures. Maybe we could have some lightsaber duel fights at the end. All kinds of interesting possibilities of where you could go with that. And hey, build a droid factory. Kind of sounds like what we have over in Galaxy's Edge right now. Kamino, an entire water park inside the main park, rather than water parks as a separate area, which tends not to be what Disney does. They tend to make any of their water parks separate. Even when they were talking about doing that at Disneyland Resort, it would have been a separate water park, not, say, within California Adventure or something else of that nature. So it would be a real departure for them to do what we see here with Kamino, which has numerous water slides, including this really intriguing one of Django's 60 Fett drop. Clone it donuts. Get your donuts on and clone the ones you like, so that way you can have even more of the same donuts. Well, hopefully they do have some variety and they're not all clones of each other. I could definitely go for cooling off over in Kamino on a nice hot day. I could see a lot of people heading there on a hot day. It could get way too busy in that part of the park. Although, Disney would probably do great with lockers if they had a water park as just part of an overall park, because gotta keep all your swim stuff somewhere. I don't want to be lugging that all around all day. Ah, Naboo. Definitely want to see Naboo. Naboo was always one of the most beautiful planets in Star Wars. Love the architecture. Love the natural parts of Naboo as well. Paradise of a planet. Captain Pannock Cakes. I don't know exactly how to pronounce that. Captain Pannock Cakes, Captain Pannock Cakes. Good place to eat breakfast. Or hey, breakfast all day long. Padme's Pizzeria. So do you go for pizza over to Naboo in Padme's Pizzeria, or do you go for Palpatino's Pizza over on Coruscant? That's a question. Get a slice of each. Ooh, an aquarium. Now that is not something I am used to at Disney at all. If you were to go to a bunch of what they call the ocean parks over in China, aquariums are actually quite common, but that's not something I'm used to in Disney. It looks like it's on the underside of the palace. No idea how big that would be from this image, but hopefully that's a big aquarium. That could be really, really neat. And a wedding venue over on Naboo. Yeah, if you want to go ahead and get married, right over there on Naboo would be a great spot. After all, there's no irritating sand on Naboo. After all, it's too much of a paradise for that. Okay, let's finish out the prequel areas over here. We have Utapau, which doesn't have a lot to it, just a pretty quick little area. We've got a Boga Fearfall, and that's nice. I love the drop rides. I was always sad when the Maliboomer left California Adventure. I loved going on that back in the day. Oh, and Mustafar, looks like we've got one more roller coaster there. We have the Descent to the Dark Side Runaway Mine Car. That's interesting. And Anakin's Hot Chili Hut. Very fitting for Mustafar. Such a small little land. Oh, I kind of wish Mustafar was bigger. Well, let's jump over to the Outer Rim, where we've got to have some Mando stuff going on, as well as all kinds of things. Looks like the Outer Rim is kind of a hodgepodge for some of our different stuff. We got Rogue One, we've got Mando in there, as well as some other Rebel characters, so it's pretty neat. Gotta have them somewhere. We've got some Scarif paintball. Ooh, a big paintball arena. What else do we have in the Outer Rim? We've got the Lothal Maze to go through. That would be fun. Hopefully they change that up often enough that when you come back it's something different. We got the Vandor Inverter Rail Crawler. Interesting little roller coaster right there. And then also the Corellia Drive School, which is listed in the Outer Rim, but that should be a core world, so whatever, we'll get away with it. Okay, that leaves the new trilogy left. So right over next to the Outer Rim, although it would take a lot more work to get to, it looks like, is Takodana. Quick little jump over there. I mean, looking at the architecture would probably be really fun. And it looks like there's a boat ride there. So I'm guessing that Maz's It's a Force World is actually going to be a boat ride. Thinking visions of Small World or the one over in Mexico over at Epcot. And then just some cool ships to get to look at. Poe's ship as well as Kylo's ship. That's nice. Nice. Over to Cantonica. And of course, over at Cantonica, we've got to have the Canto Bight Casino. Beautiful casino to have seen on the other side. I don't know what we would do inside a Disney theme park in a casino, but apparently there's some sabak and other stuff. Probably just more of a restaurant place to eat would be my guess. After all, we're not going to have real gambling on a Disney park. That's for sure. And then I guess there's a spa. So I guess once you're done over Kamino, you walk way over here and you come over to the spa. I guess there's a Fathier Arcade. I just feel... I wish Cantonica had actually gone a little further there because the Fathiers were such cool creatures. Regardless of what you think about the scene in Last Jedi, they were cool creatures and there could have been an opportunity to actually see one up a little closer or even have the races. Then we go over to Crate and there are some cool vehicles in there, and I like the idea of getting to go into the crystalline caves. And so hopefully something in there causes the ground to change. We get to see the red actually pop out of the ground on occasion. Hoping for something like that if we were to have a land. Then we have Pisana, which we just saw in the most recent movie, Little Vex's Sinkhole roller coaster. Not sure how the roller coaster works and really would fit you in with that sinkhole, as I don't feel roller coaster when thinking about that scene. But hey, any excuse for a roller coaster, right? I would have thought maybe you would have gone with, while I had my issues with the hyperspace skipping, that would have made a little more sense for the theme for a roller coaster. And we've got to have some kind of festival that happens on occasion in there, because that was probably one of the really cool things about Pisana. Jakku. And we've got this giant roller coaster which takes up most of the land in Jakku. And that's got to be the Millennium Falcon escaping. Let's see what it's called. It's called for Escape from Jakku Roller Coaster. Yeah, as expected. Although we've also got Ray's Sand Luge over there. So you can see the smaller little thing over here, and oh look, there's like this cable like ski lift kind of thing going where it'll take us to the top and we'll be able to actually ride down. Oh, very nice. And we've got food over in the AT-AT on its side called Ray's Sliders. Nice little snack store right there. Oh, and I guess we do have one other thing that I almost missed. We do have Exegol, where there's a Dark Reign Palpatine theater. And we'll have Emperor Palpatine outside the front, so you can greet him there. On the very last land to talk about is Octo over there, which Octo has a log flume for Luke's Jedi log flume, as well as some milk from those funky cool creatures, the Thalasirans, huh? Nice. And looking over the water, it looks like they're definitely got the idea of some kind of big water show that we could probably see from Geonosis or the center in the Death Star area. Maybe some areas in Naboo and Mustafar we could see it from. Definitely got to have a cool nighttime water show. We got have some fireworks over top of the Death Star / Starkiller base. I would love if this was actually the theme park we had. If we actually added a 5th theme park called Forceworld and actually had a whole Star Wars land to explore. Let's see, as far as the land I would want to spend the most time in, can definitely spend a bunch of time in Naboo. Hoth is really neat looking. Tatooine. Those 3 are going to be on the top of my list. Rides, I'm really curious about that Death Star Escape ride. Top roller coaster. Oh, actually, I'm really curious about the pod racing as far as roller coasters. That one looks really neat. Although the way the Jakku one just spins all up and around, it has this huge area and giant ships it's working its way through. That could be really cool as well. And I'm definitely checking out those 2 different pizzerias. Finding out who's got the best pizza. Is it Padme or Palpatine? Which P? Which P will you be? Well, thanks for taking that kind of rambling exploration of Forceworld 2.0 with me. You can also go ahead and see the images for Forceworld Original as well as the Lucasworld. Maybe someday I'll take a talk through those and talk about the differences. But for now, feel free to check the link out down below to be able to see them up in a larger size. The biggest differences are whether those sequels are in there as well as Mando not being in there and Rogue One. Also, the very first one doesn't even have the shape of Millennium Falcon. It's just a more amorphous theme park. If this theme park existed over in Disney World, I would probably be spending so much time here over top of all the other theme parks. Although I would certainly still spend time in my Animal Kingdom, my Hollywood Studios, my Epcot, and my Magic Kingdom. But you better bet half that time's going over to Forceworld. Especially with everything in here, that feels like such a giant park that it would have to almost be bigger than any one of those 4. What about you? What did you think of Forceworld? Or the Lucasworld that came before it? And which land would be your favorite, and what ride would you go on again and again if this was you inside the park? Let me know down below. And hey, thanks for sticking through this and watching it. If you liked the video, as usual, give it a like, share it with your friends. And I will see you back here for another new episode of Freeform Disney tomorrow. And if you haven't done it yet, it really helps out if you click that subscribe button and ring that bell. Have a magical day, everyone, and may the Force be with you always.